Hello. You might recall that I shared with you a reading of one of the letters of General Robert E. Lee, and it's from the book Recollections and Letters of General Robert E. Lee. So that was just a little bit later in the book, and it is still part of what one gets if one gets a preview via Kindle that you can read online before you decide to get the whole book. And that is a very nice feature that Amazon Kindle has, that you can have a sample of the book, get a taste of the kind of writing and the story. Of course, you can take a look at the table of contents, and you can decide for yourself whether you want to read the whole book, you want to spend your time doing that. So, in keeping with what is still in the realm of the preview, I thought, well, why not just read from chapter 1? And it's called Services in the United States Army. Captain Lee of the Engineers, a hero to his child. The family pets, home from the Mexican War, 3 years in Baltimore, superintendent of the West Point Military Academy, lieutenant colonel of 2nd Cavalry, suppresses John Brown raid at Harper's Ferry, commands the Department of Taxes. So this is how the chapter 1 is laid out. I'm going to read starting with the very first paragraph. The first vivid recollection I have of my father is his arrival at Arlington after his return from the Mexican War. I can remember some events of which he seemed a part when we lived at Fort Hamilton, New York, about 1846, but they're more like dreams, very indistinct and disconnected. Naturally so, for I was at that time about 3 years old. But the day of his return to Arlington, after an absence of more than 2 years, I've always remembered. I had a frock or blouse of some light wash material, probably cotton, a blue ground dotted over with white diamond figures. Of this I was very proud and wanted to wear it on this important occasion. Eliza, my mammy, objecting, we had a contest and I won. Clothed in this, my very best, and with my hair freshly curled in long golden ringlets, I went down into the larger hall where the whole household was assembled. Eagerly greeting my father, who had just arrived on horseback from Washington, having missed in some way the carriage which had been sent for him. There was visiting us at this time Mrs. Lippett, a friend of my mother's, with her little boy Armistead, about my age and size, also with long curls. Whether he wore as handsome a suit as mine, I cannot remember, but he and I were left together in the background, feeling rather frightened and awed. After a moment's greeting to those surrounding him, my father pushed through the crowd, exclaiming, "Where is my little boy?" He then took up in his arms and kissed, not me, his own child in his best frock with clean face and well-arranged curls, but my little playmate, Armistead. I remember nothing more of any circumstances connected with that time, save that I was shocked and humiliated. I have no doubt that he was at once informed of his mistake and made ample amends to me. Well, I enjoyed reading this little passage from the very beginning of this book. The way the boys were dressed, you can notice, and General Robert E. Lee didn't know who his son was. So, interesting reading right at the beginning. I think, you should get this book because you see the humanity of what people only know from a statue. And you get to see that these are humans. They have families and concerns, and they're a lot like everybody else, except for what they did in their lives and the occupations they had. So this is all I'm going to read from this book, and I hope you enjoyed this little sample, which is just over 5 minutes. Thank you for your attention and for your time, and I'll see you with another video. Goodbye and take care.